Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have an amazing guest on the show this evening. I'm super excited to have him on. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, how are
Good
you?
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Fine, thank you. Good
Fan-
afternoon.
Great, great,
Good
great.
afternoon.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. I want to say a big thank you for taking time out to come on today's show
Oh,
as well. But before we go ahead, can you tell us who we have on the show today? So my listeners know we got the real person, the real individual. It's not an imposter. It's not a fake one. We always get real people anyway. Can you tell us who do we have on the show this evening?
so we've got Ade Bakare, the fashion designer.
Amazing. The one and only Ade Bakare as well. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I know I don't normally do this, but I have to say, you know what, I'm proud to be having this conversation with Mr. Ade Bakare on the show this evening because doing our research, we found out that he actually went to, I mean, I'm sure he would agree with me, the best secondary school in Nigeria. I don't care. You might,
Yes.
anyone listening to me, if you want to dispute that, go argue with anyone else. But me and Mr. Adebakare this evening agree that that was the best secondary school in Nigeria, and he went there, and I went there as well. So that's amazing. That is amazing,
Yes.
amazing. Super excited as well. Again, thank you again for coming on the show this evening.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's get right into it. For people who don't know who Mr. Ade Bakare is, can you tell us who is Mr. Ade Bakare? I'm asking. Anyone can ask a question. Who is Mr. Ade Bakare? What would you say?
I'll say I'm a fashion designer first, and then I'll say I'm a couture designer, which is like a specialization in fashion. So couture basically just means the high end of fashion and sort of things sort of you create for an individual. So it's more sort of made to measure. But then having said that, we also have a ready-to-wear line. We have a ready-to-wear line, which we sell in two countries, in Lagos and London.
Amazing.
So it's, yes, so I would say we clocked 30 years last year.
Wow.
And it's been a long process from getting a grant from the Prince of Wales Youth Business Trust, that's PYBT.
Amazing.
We were given a grant to start up my business. And so I started the business in 1991.
Yes.
And then initially I started selling to shops and boutiques. And then that sort of grew. We're selling to shops and boutiques all across the UK, even as far as the Channel Islands. And then I think there was a recession in England, and so we had to change focus and start designing couture. That's when I went to couture, doing a lot of wedding dresses, evening wear, specialized clothes for private clients. And then we had a boutique in Mayfair on Grosvenor Street, number 26.
Amazing.
But it was on the first floor, so people had to book appointments to see us. But that sort of really introduced me to the fashion circles in England. And that sort of address was very instrumental in my development in England, especially because people took me very seriously as a business. And I remember the office was sandwiched between like a French bank and a Rothschild a bank branch in London. So it was quite a Tony area. So it was very beautiful. And sort of we made clothes. And then, because I started all this very early, sort of I think I was like 23, 24.
Wow. Wow.
So and then by then I wanted to branch out into other things. And we then sort of moved to Earl's Court, where I had a shop presence, and then started designing for other clients across the world. So I used to go a lot to Nigeria. I got invited a lot to Nigeria to stage shows because that was the era when sort of a lot of people were curious about what was going on in England by Nigerians. And so the Nigerians took to me because Daily Model of Ovation magazine wrote a lot about me and some other magazines in England and Nigeria.
Amazing.
And so, hello, can you help?
Yeah, I can. I am super proud and inspired by yourself, sir. I mean, if I have never said it, I'm saying it now. I mean, you started 23, 24, 30 years ago, 1991. Even the terrain or the environment, must have been quite challenging at that point in time. But you pulled through, and you made sure you're still here till now, and still going to go more years. But I mean, let's take a step back quickly. When and I mean, how did it all begin? What sparked your interest in fashion?
So when I was young, I always used to sketch a lot. And I remember my mom saying, "Oh, these look like fashion drawings." So she started buying me a lot. So I was 8 years old then. Because I was born in Birmingham, actually in Bromsgrove.
Okay.
But came back to Nigeria sort of to do secondary school, which is at the Government College, Lagos. And I went to University of Lagos to study history. So during my secondary school years, my mom had already given me a lot of magazines, and so I'd already had a strong idea of what I wanted to do in the future. And so I'd already known by the time I was in Form 5, then we had Forms
I remember,
A, B, C, and yes. And then I was very clear and I wanted to be a fashion designer. So that's how it started. And I was fortunate to have a mom who encouraged me.
I know.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. I mean, for parents to, I mean, that should be a lesson for any parent listening in now. To support, your children and give them that, the encouragement that needed. I mean, look at Mr. Ade Bakare now. He's broken loads of barriers and is such an inspiration to anyone listening out there as well. That you can do it when you send your mind to it as well. 23 or 24. That's when he started out, and he's here today as well. I mean, what does fashion mean to you, Mr. Ade?
So fashion means to me sort of glamour. I believe, yes, we dress every day, but when I think of fashion, I just think of something glamorous, something outstanding, that sort of people sort of are in awe. There's a lot of detail, a lot of beauty, a lot of color, all that's captured. So to me, that's what fashion is. And I just feel it's a beautiful way to express themselves. People express themselves in different ways, but fashion is one of the ways that people can express themselves beautifully.
You're quite right. I couldn't agree more. As well, fashion it's amazing. I love fashion. I mean, I've always aspired to even be a fashion designer, but I can see that it can be quite challenging as well, because you have to really dedicate yourself to your craft, and I think it's quite amazing. I mean, let's talk about your designs and styles. I mean, your styles and designs, it's not one you can say, it looks like that other designing one, or I've seen something similar to someone do it as well. You create this unique type of amazing designs, and also you mentioned you went into a bit of couture now, which is amazing. But how do you get your inspirations? How do you sit down from sketching and bring it into reality? What's the mind process like? Tell us.
Okay, so it's quite sort of an intellectual process whereby you start with a theme, and then you could say, like, for instance, butterflies are your theme, and then you have mood boards, and then you do a lot of research on butterflies, different colors of butterflies, different names of butterflies from different parts of the world, and then you start sketching, and then maybe your sort of clothes will incorporate the things that you have sort of put on your mood board, and then you begin to create a collection, so that when the collection is made and presented, and you say the same as butterflies, when people look at it, they should be able to see that influence. So that's what we were taught in school, and I just feel it still works till today. Amazing. It's just a more sort of proper way of working, more cohesive, and that way you're able to sort of see your sort of designs to fruition. So it's very important to have a formula, and that's the formula that we were taught in school, and that's the formula I always adhere to.
Amazing. I mean, 30 years. 30 years is a really long time, and a lot of fashion designers have come and gone. Some are still there, but not really having that impact. But you keep keeping it fresh. You keep coming up with amazing designs. You're able to diversify as well into other aspects of fashion. I mean, how do you keep yourself relevant, and also how do you maintain that freshness?
Okay, what happened? We started doing wedding dresses. That came about because when I was in school, Salford University College, I won an award in fashion designing and in bridal design when I was in college, and it was shown on ITV.
Wow.
And there was a program called This Morning, and people had to vote in all across England, and I came second.
Wow.
So the first three we were told to make designs. I was still in school, and we presented them at Harrogate at the bridal show in Harrogate. So when a friend of mine was getting married, and she said, "Oh, could you design my wedding dress for me?" And I said, "Oh, I don't design wedding dresses. I just do the ready-to-wear." She said, "Oh, but I escorted you to an award ceremony in Harrogate, so of course you can do a wedding dress." So that was the first one I did. I remember her name was Galafo Neilme. She's married now. But that was the first wedding dress I did. And subsequently, it now became part of my collections when I moved into Mayfair. And because Mayfair was very close to Hanover Square, where Vogue House was, so anytime I did in-house fashion shows, they would come over to come and look at the fashion show. So they wrote about me once, which was amazing, this editorial piece in Brides magazine. And it brought in a lot of brides all over England, sort of coming to patronize me. Then we branched out into perfume, which was happenstance again. That happened because I was meant to have a financial backer.
Yeah.
But it did sort of work out with the Indian fellow because he fell ill. And he had a company called Crown Perfumers, and he had a branch at Burlington Arcade in the other parts of sort of Bond Street.
Yeah, correct.
He then said, yes, on Jermyn Street, that sort of axis. And he said that, okay, since we couldn't back you financially, we will create a perfume for you. So they took me through the whole process of creating a perfume, and that's where Breeze came about, which was our first
Breeze,
fragrance.
yes, your first one.
Yes. So that's how these additional things, they were not planned, they sort of happened, but they've been very instrumental into the progress of my business, and because it's been a bit difficult not having a financial backer, but I just decided that I wasn't going to always wait for a financial backer to come along, because it can be quite disturbing in the sense that you put all your hopes and aspirations that someone's going to inject all this capital into your business, and then it doesn't happen, and it leaves you dejected. So I said I wasn't going to depend on companies or people anymore. I was just going to put all the profits back into the business and sort of let it grow, a natural sort of growth.
Amazing.
And that's what we've been able to do over the years. And what I've always felt was very important, which I learned, was that, because I used to try to get into London Fashion Week then, and what I learned was that you had to always do 2 collections a year, autumn, winter, spring, summer. So that gives you a bit of discipline. But what it also does is that it makes you always create something new. So because I've always had that process and that mindset, so that even if I'm not showing at a fashion week or I've not been invited to show anywhere, I simply would always adhere to those principles, because that is what the client wants to see, the end customer. They always want to see new things. So if you look at it like cars, like a Mercedes-Benz, they would always have a new version coming out, even phones.
Correct.
You must always do something new for your clients and customers to look forward to. So with our shops and boutiques, a client can come in and she would say, "Oh, I've got this, I've got that, but I'll come to you in 3 months' time because I know you'd have more new things." And that's very important.
It is.
And I think that's been our staying power, sort of to always come up with new ideas and present them.
Amazing. If anyone is listening now and you're, in any form kind of doing any business, or even not necessarily fashion, I mean, I think Mr. Ade just given us amazing insights how to have a lifelong business. It's all about refreshing. It's all about, trying to be, new for your clients and presenting something great. Also, quality is very important as well. And Mr. Ade is very big on that as well. 30 years, amazing long time. You mentioned about the first wedding dress you actually done for that lady as well. That must be worth a fortune at some point as well. Are you planning to do an exhibition at some point as well for all your work? I'm sure you probably have done that in the past as well. Yes, exhibition.
And then we did another show in London.
Okay, sorry, I lost it.
The exhibition will come later when we've launched the book, because I'm trying to put a book together which will compile the 30 years in business. So once that book is ready, then that would be a prelude to the exhibition, and which will capture the close over the 30-year period. But having said that, I've always done retrospectives, especially here in Nigeria, because I always go to museums when I'm abroad in England and Paris and New York. I always make sure I go for fashion exhibitions, and so I've done a lot of retrospectives in Nigeria. And what I did was that there was a gallery called Culture,
yes,
and we put all the clothes over different periods and invite secondary school students. So I always used to get secondary school students to attend these retrospectives, because I just thought it's very important for children at a younger age to be exposed to the artistic leanings of what they might be interested in. When we're in secondary school, a lot of people drew cars, some drew comic books. Well, that's all a form of expression. So I was very particular that I wanted secondary school students to be able to attend exhibitions. So I've done a lot of that in Nigeria, in Lagos. And it's funny though, because I remember initially I thought, maybe it's not so beneficial, and they were always aimed at the local state schools, because I felt those were the children who might not have an opportunity to travel abroad.
Amazing.
So I remember once I was at a restaurant, and this waiter, she was a lady, and she said, when I was in secondary school, I came to one of the exhibitions, and I said, oh, really?
Wow.
And she said, yes, and that the school selected about sort of 20 of them, and those who went that were selected, when they came back to school, the next day they were like superstars, because they had been selected to attend this exhibition, and they told all their friends, what they had witnessed and experienced and what they learned from it. So I thought, quite useful then. So we continued doing it, and I just feel it's very important to encourage the younger ones, because it's at a younger age you know where your talent lies. Just 100%. Unfortunately, some are not given that encouragement.
Yeah, you're right. And I do commend you and thank you for actually thinking about encouraging the younger ones, especially in Nigeria, and how challenging the society can be, and also possibly the outlook of individuals to expand the outlook as well, to say, I can do this as well. Okay, again, you've been in the industry for a while, which is amazing, and I think it's just amazing. I can't even stop saying that, because I think it's amazing, and you're doing really well. You're making us proud as well. But working in the fashion industry today from when you started out, how different is that? So we have him back with us now. As you know, technology can be a bit challenging as well. So I was asking a question around, being in the fashion industry today, how different is it, to when? Fantastic. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I think we have found the solution. We have fixed it now. We'll have him back with us as well. I do apologize. It's technology. What can we say as well? So Mr. Ade, so please give us the answer to that question. Or do you want me to ask the question again? I was asking about the fashion industry today to what is the difference, to when you started?
Oh, yes. I was saying that it's a bit more open now. Then it was very regimented. You showed your collection to buyers, and then, they selected, and then if they liked what they saw, they would order, and then you deliver. So having access to buyers was very key, but also very exclusive. It was extremely difficult to get hold of buyers, because the buyers would represent department stores and shops and boutiques, So a bio was very crucial for the life of the designer. But now there's a lot of direct access because of social media. So people can post on their Instagram posts, on WhatsApp. So they have a closer link with the public now, and they don't necessarily follow trends as much as before. People sort of, I mean, you still have all the trends there and everything, but they're not adhered to very strictly. Like then, sort of during the sort of 90s, I mean, they could say this was the color in vogue and everybody would stick to it, or this was the level of a skirt. But now things are a bit more fluid. There's a lot of uniqueness in the sense of singular people's sort of attitudes and what they like takes predominance now over trends. So trends are not as strong as before. And now you have a lot of people, even celebrities, who have fashion lines. So it's a bit more open now. But having said that, you still have the professional designers who just go about it professionally and cater to their audience. And I think that's what I believe is also part of the staying power, the fact that you either apprentice or you study, and it just makes you a bit more professional in your dealings and in your outlook on business. And you know it's there for the long haul. It's not there to be made profits for a few seasons and then you disappear. It's a passionate thing. It's something you're passionate about and that you devote the rest of your life to. So you would always have uphills and downhills, but you will stay the course because it's what you're passionate about. And yes, business is profit orientated, but your passion sees you through because it will take you through the difficult periods.
Amazing. You couldn't have said it any better as well. I mean, what is your favorite part? About being a designer, being a fashion designer. What excites you? What gets you going? What makes you think, oh my gosh, I really want to continue doing this? What's your favorite part?
I love creating new things, and I love having fashion shows and presenting them, and I love the reaction of the clients, of the people, and that, oh my God, this is new, this is fresh, we haven't seen this before.
Amazing.
And it might not be on a global scale, but it's on a scale that you have access to, and they're just as appreciative. And so you get that sort of vibe of fulfillment that, you've done something beautiful, and people respond by ordering a lot the next day, and they come and they're inundated. You're inundated with orders. And I remember a long time ago, the partner of Yves Saint Laurent, and he said, he was his business partner, Pierre Berger, and Pierre Berger said then that the current couture designer is busy working in his atelier in different parts of the world, and he's just catering to his clients. And I feel that he captured it well because a lot of people are attracted to the glamour side of fashion, and they feel, they want to, be at a fashion show, they want to be on the red carpet, they want to meet with celebrities. Well, that's not what fashion is about. There's a lot behind the scenes that's not being shown. Yeah. And that brings me, yes, and I'm actually having a film being done.
Oh, wow.
And the script has been written, and it's going to sort of like show the different sides of fashion that people at times don't really get to see.
I can't wait to see it. I'm guessing you're featured on that film.
I have a little cameo appearance, yes.
Okay, amazing.
Because costume designing has now become another part of our business. And I was even I was in the UK recently working on a film which is called It's the Blackness. It was directed by Akim K. Kazim, who is a well-known actor who was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Produced by Dapo Shiami. And it's, so that was a 5-week grueling session, and it was sort of 12 hours every day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But it was a great experience because, working with a lot of professional people. And I've done a lot of costume design in Nigeria. So, it was beautiful to have to sort of do that in England. It was almost like coming back home.
Amazing, amazing. You know, I mean, you mentioned something just on your comment around when you mentioned YSL, you know, and also before that you mentioned the word global, and it got me thinking that we need to get you global. I want you to be global. It's no, I know you're modest. You want to do your couture. You want to do all of that, but I want to go into a room, you know, that I'm wearing Ade Bakare, and I turn around and it's like, oh my gosh, he's wearing Ade Bakare. Do you know what I mean? You know, get that kind of. I want you global because we are the people. Most black people are the people behind making all of this. You know, designers. I'm not saying that they don't have quality. I'm not saying they don't have great designs. But you know, we get to hear them in the music. We get to hear them on Instagram and all of that. I want you as that because you make us proud. You've been in here in the fashion industry for 30 years. It's not a joke, and you're still coming out and doing amazing things. I think if you're listening to me today, find where you can buy Ade Bakare's garment, shirt, whatever. Get it. You know, stop wearing it and start talking about it. You know what I mean? We need to get him global because he's amazing. He's amazing. But I mean, do you only do women's clothing or do you do men's as well?
Yes, we do men's, and we do a lot of sort of beautiful shirts in silk adire, sort of waistcoats and beautiful linen pants, depending on the season. So we do menswear too, and I think this season for summer we're doing a lot of menswear in beautiful colors because colors are very fashionable, especially psychedelic colors. Primary colors are very in vogue, and it's nice to see men who normally are in muted sort of colors or dark colors to now sort of wear bright colors. It happens a lot in tropical countries, but not a lot in temperate or sort of in Europe. So it's a nice push to now see people wear a lot of color, and that's what we're trying to inject into our collections. And I feel with everything in life, there's a time and place for everything, and I think the time will come when the name Ade Bakare will be on a lot of people's lips. So I've always seen...
It's now. I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now. Yeah,
yes.
It's now. The time is now.
But remember, fashion is, I mean, any business is a journey, it's not a destination. So that will happen, and then other things will happen. Because you can't say, okay, you hear about it, and then that's the end of it. No,
of course not.
Other challenges, other things that will come across. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I am going to be, you know, contributing to making more noise about this brand.
Thank you.
We're going to be posting on our Instagram handle, you know, details of where you can buy and purchase, and also some examples or pictures of the amazing designs coming out of Ade Bakare's workshop as well. Because that's what we do. We celebrate people, and we're not, you know, just going to be saying it. We're going to be doing some action. So you do some action as well if you listen to me this evening as well. So I mean, you talk about some amazing designs you create for women and both and men as well. You talk about the vibrant colors of the t-shirts and of the shirts and that. But how do you want, you know, people to feel? You know, how should they feel when they wear, you know, your clothes, when they wear and the Ade Bakare brand? You know,
I want them to have a sense of belonging, a sense of dignity, a sense of joy, a sense of appreciation. Because there's a lot of effort that goes into designing something and having it made. And, you know, people to feel, and they do, especially with our clients in Nigeria. I always feel like they're ambassadors all over the world because, you know, they would tell me, oh, they were in Morocco. People ran up to them and said, who designed this? And they would say, oh, go to his Instagram page. And, you know, and I feel people do appreciate what we do. And I don't want to lose focus of that sort of attention to detail. It's very important. And, you know, so I just feel that we will continue to walk along those lines, and hopefully more people will be aware of our efforts, and we will be rewarded in due time.
Amazing, amazing. So what's your advice to any young aspiring designers, you know, out there, you know, been listening to you this evening? You know, what's your word to them?
My sort of what to say to encourage other designers.
Correct, yes. Young aspiring designers.
Yes, I mean, they have to be tenacious. They have to make sure that they are very passionate about fashion and not just attracted to the glamour side of it. So it's always best to apprentice with another designer, or if you can, study it. And then, see if this is something you really want to do, because I always say that there are lots of easier ways to make money. So if you really want to be a fashion designer, you have to be very passionate about it and prepared to go the long haul, and not see it as a sort of a career or an occupation that will bring immediate results. No, I mean, yes, some are fortunate, but most, you really do have to pay your dues before you will get recognized. And it really is a business, and it's about you satisfying your passion. I think that should be your primary focus.
Amazing.
And then it would all come together. So remain focused and remain tenacious on what you're doing. And as a Christian, obviously, I always pray over everything that I do.
Wow. He's a man of faith as well. I mean, he couldn't have said it any better.
Definitely.
He said it any better as well. I'm so proud to have gone to the same secondary school as you as well. I'm here. I'm inspired. Looking and listening. Keeping it. I love it. Sustaining an amazing brand for 30 years. It's not easy. There are challenges, but you overcame the challenges, and you're still here and still pushing. To go ahead.
Yes.
Many more years.
Yes, it's like I just started yesterday. I was in Dubai, just got back from Dubai on Wednesday, got all these beautiful fabrics, to create a new collection with. And it's just so exciting. And that's what I love about fashion, being able to create something and then see it, in existence. I just think it's one of the most beautiful experiences in life. And I think Albert Einstein said, the power of creativity was even more powerful than being intellectual. And I thought, that's a very deep statement. Yeah, the power to be able to create something. It's a blessing. It's a gift.
Amazing. Okay, I've had such a great time with you on the show this evening. But if anyone out there listening and say, you know what, I want to purchase one of your amazing designs, is the website adebakare.com, or is it a different website?
Yeah. So we have two Instagram accounts. It's Ade Bakare and Ade Bakare Couture, one word. And then we've got a Facebook, Ade Bakare Couture, and also a website, www.adebakarecouture.com.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be posting that anyway. We'll be posting that on our Instagram page as well, because we said, you know what, we want to make them global. We're going to add our own effort to push and make that happen as well. But before you go, can you tell us a fun fact about you that maybe no one knows, exclusively live here on Double9 Radio?
Okay, so what will I say? I love traveling. I love sort of reading. And then I really do like eating out, fine dining, gourmet, sort of the best of sort of restaurants.
Amazing.
I really do like eating out, so I must say.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, there you find it. If you're trying to get Mr. Ade Bakare, just look at the best restaurant in England or in anywhere he is as well. You can find him there as well. Mr. Ade, it's been amazing to have you on the show this evening. And I want to say a big thank you again for all you're doing, and also representing, us in a very positive light as well. And I think you're quite remarkable. And I wish you the very best as well. I can't wait to even smell your amazing colognes or perfumes as well, because they're for men as well, right? Or is unisex?
Yeah, it's unisex. Yes, with top fragrances are usually unisex. I will be having a show in London in July at the Rembrandt Hotel.
Please let us know. Please let us know. Yes, we will be there.
Yeah.
We will be there as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Ade, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you as well. Have a fantastic weekend, and thank you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're most welcome.